How's everyone's week? Child, it's been rough over here in these streets. All right, so that one is there. Let me give some folks a little bit of time to get in here. I went on wait a minute. I went live on IG first. 20 girl, listen. Okay. Whoo, listen. We in the trenches this tax season. Did you see the notification where it talked about the IRS still having all this money held up from refunds? It is crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. Hey, Facebook. Hey, 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 hey. And YouTube and whoever else is out there. Drop some emojis or something. Share this broadcast. I am not going to be on here long. It has been a rough week. I don't know about anybody else, but it has been a rough week, and it is only Tuesday yet again, but it has been a really trying week. So much is still going on. Oh gosh. Well, and the thing is, are they even going to send it in the summertime? Because there's still some people from 2019 return from last year, 2020, that has not received their refunds yet. So, like, sis, I'll keep you lifted. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hi, is it Ashik? How are you? I am well. I am well. I am well. Let me know where you're checking in from. I know my girl over here is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Just up the road from me. We are gonna have to definitely do lunch after tax season is over. I think you said you go on vacation. So after your vacation, we'll definitely have to connect and go do let your hair down lunch. All right. Freelancer. Okay. That's awesome. Where are you located at, Ashik? Listen, you said they're hiring. That's what they said that they're gonna so let me go ahead and get right into this so that we could talk. Yes, yes, ma'am, to lunch. So for those of you who do not know me, Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions, 100% virtual tax and accounting firm offering a multitude of services. Right now, we are in the crux of tax season. So most of what I'm going to be discussing with you, for the most part, is pertaining to taxes. However, I do discuss other topics with you, just because there's so much going on. PPP is still going on. We have until May 31st. So if you need your PPP application submitted, let me know. Our offices are taking those applications. We are still handling tax returns. I have not decided on what the cutoff is going to be just yet. I want to give people time, but I know depending on the type of return, at times it takes a little back and forth to get everything that we need. But if you know that you have all of your documents together, we'll be taking returns pretty much up until the last day. However, if I know that it's a return that's going to take a little more time, you will be requested to file an extension. Your cutoff is May 1st. Okay, right, but that's because you're going out of town, right? But I'm going to accept clients. I'm thinking up through May 7th. May 7th will be about the time that I start cutting it off. You want to make sure, guys. So a couple of things have been going on. A couple of things have been going on. So running into some major issues with clients that do not have their books in order when they're business owners. And I made a post yesterday on Facebook. IG didn't get this, but I made a post on Facebook basically saying it is irresponsible as a business owner for you not to be doing your books. Now, I say that not judging you. Hey, gal. I say that not judging you. And one thing about me is I'm very, very patient when it comes to helping you navigate through that process. But when you elect to negate that part, and then when you get your numbers back from tax season because now you done threw some stuff together and you don't like those numbers, you can't be angry. Like, you can't be angry, you can't be mad, you can't be want a refund because those numbers don't look the way you want them to look. That's not fair to the preparer. A lot of times, and there's many times that we put in a lot of, grit. There's a lot that goes into us taking courses. We find ways to work with other preparers so that we can learn and we can have someone to tap into in a community of people. But you have to, as a business owner, be responsible and accountable for your business and stop running your business like a hobby. If it's a business and it's a viable business that you want to see thrive, then definitely, get your things in order. If your stuff is not in order, I am available to help you navigate through that. I've done it. I've said before, I've been graced with a patience that helps people navigate through that. So when I make that post, it's not passing judgment on anyone who is handling their business like that. However, I want you to get to a place that you say, no shame. Let me go ahead and put it out there. My books aren't in order. What do I need to do to get this corrected or get this stuff in order so that I can maximize everything that is due to me at tax season? One of the taxpayer bill of rights is that you don't have to pay any more taxes than you're responsible for. But how do you know that if your books aren't in order? And then if you get to a place where your books aren't in order, you throw some information to the tax professional. And I've had this case happen where someone throws some stuff on an income statement, on their profit and loss statement, send it over, and the information is incorrect. And we say, okay, there's no way you had this much expenses in this area based on your profession or your area, of business. It's wrong. Please don't be offended. I am the transparent accountant for a reason. I am going to operate with total transparency, honesty, and integrity according to the tax laws, according to what the IRS, what Congress put in place. And the IRS then now puts in those publications and enforces. And I'm going to enforce what they say. I'm not going to just put numbers because they look good to you. I'm not going to put numbers to claim more expenses just to reduce your tax liability. If you have a six-figure income, you should be paying quarterly taxes. If you don't, guess what? At the end of the year, if you have not done any tax planning, which typically if you haven't paid estimated taxes, you have it. But if you haven't done any tax planning, 9 times out of 10, you're going to owe a nice little hefty amount of money. I did have a situation with a client a few weeks ago where we were reviewing her tax return this year from previous years, and literally her numbers dropped significantly of what she owed. Like, she owed a couple of $100 versus a couple of $1,000 in the past because she finally took my advice and started paying the estimated tax payments that's due. There's no way around it. The IRS is going to want their money. As my sister said over here on IG, they're hiring more agents. They are about to crack down like none other. And y'all know, I've been singing this since the beginning of the summer. Beginning of the season. Like, the IRS is they're about to crack down because somebody's got to recoup this money, and that's the ultimate thing about it. The other thing that I want to say is, one thing about us here at Bryant Business Solutions, I have learned early on, all money is not good money. And I know it may step on a few toes. Somebody may not like it and say, oh, she's saying all money is not good money. And I will break up with a client if I see that it's going to be an issue. And it's not that I have an issue with anyone disputing what I've said, but once I'm like this with the Bible. Once I see it in the word of God. Ain't nothing gonna make me budge from what the word tells me. I'm like that with the IRS publication. Once I have identified it in the IRS publication that this is how something is supposed to be done, I am not veering from it unless you give me written documentation, the same as you have a written contract. A verbal contract cannot break that. You cannot take a verbal contract to court and break a written contract. Once I see it in the IRS publication, once I know this is how it functions, then that's it. I'm like, you can be mad, glad, sad, whatever. That is what is I'm going to follow. And it's up to you to respect the fact that I've now showed it to you. That's the last agency to try. Okay. And that's the thing, the IRS ain't gonna budge. Now, one thing I have learned with the IRS in my years of doing taxes, I know when my husband had gone overseas and I started doing contractor returns, literally, I have been on the phone with an IRS, 2 agents, and a supervisor breaking down the tax law as it pertains to overseas contractors. They don't know everything, but our job is to kind of be the liaison between you and the IRS. And if you're going to entrust your taxes to me, if you're going to entrust your return to me, I am going to do my due diligence to make sure I apply every leg of the law that I can to do what I can for you. And then what you don't understand, I'm going to educate you on it. It's not that I am bashing anyone or I'm saying, oh, what if it's wrong, it's wrong. There's no cute way to say your stuff is wrong. None. So I'm going to tell you it's wrong, but this is how we fix it. This is how we move forward. I'll never come to you to tell you that something is wrong and not have a solution or a resolution for it with you. So that's the biggest thing right now. And that was a lot of my frustration yesterday, because, having a client that's disputing something that is blatantly there in the publication, that this is what it is. Like, you can't be angry because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Now your situation is something that you don't like or you don't favor. And and once the work is done, the work is done. There's no way to take back or give me back my time or my preparer's time after they've spent hours working on your return to make sure you're compliant. With tax preparation, I think it's misunderstood. Tax preparation is actually compliance work. It is not, and I've said this over and over again, it's not tax planning. It is not CFO services. It is not me breaking down what entity you should be. This is the entity you are. This is how it works. That's it. These are the laws that apply to that. That's not what it is. However, we do offer concierge services where I have a mandatory 20-minute document review once your return is done, because I want you to understand your return. I'm not required, or my staff is not required to do that. It's a service that we offer because I want to make sure that I fall and I align myself with what the mission of my company is, to educate and to empower. And I want you to feel empowered when you're done. Again, the way I talk is the way I talk. It's not with the intent of offense, but if your toes, that's almost like you go to church and the pastor say something and you know you ain't right. And then when the pastor go walking up your row and now you walking out there, you mad at pastor. Why are you mad at pastor? Because pastor done came up your row when you wrong. We have to, as adults, be accountable. And that's what I'm noticing a lot more, that we're not accountable for our stuff. And it's not that nobody is available to help you navigate through that. And I know a lot of times, we're a little shameful to say, okay, I ain't been handling my business like I should, or even I wasn't making any money, so I didn't feel like I could afford for someone to help me. Don't worry, I got some stuff coming for that. But I didn't feel as though I could afford for somebody to help me when it comes to this. But I mean, I don't know about anyone else. I offer a free 15-minute consultation. that kind of, at least gets you on the right path. Yeah, I'd say this is what I do in my consultation, but typically by the time you get off the consultation with me, that's 15 minutes. I've had some people on a consultation for an hour and they got that free service. It is what it is, because I get passionate about what I do, because I want to help the masses, but I'm one person. I can't. I don't know everything about everything. That's the other thing. So if it's something that I don't know or I'm unfamiliar with, I'm going to tap into my resources, my colleagues, those wonderful tax professionals throughout the US, because I have them literally from the East Coast to the West Coast that I talk with regularly. And we tap into each other to get, okay, we don't understand this one. What does this say? Let's break this down. What's your thoughts on this? How did you navigate this? Did you have this situation? And we move forward from there. But again, all money is not good money. And if I see early on that there's going to be issue either with our personalities or with a completely just non-compliant client, I will release myself. I have to protect my peace. I have to protect my stress. I will protect it. As much as I can, I will protect my preparers. Of course, they're adults, so they're going to have to protect themselves as well. But I just want to make sure that we understand that. So one thing I wanted to talk about again today, I just said all that to say, one thing I wanted to discuss again for us to understand when we set our businesses up, because we're seeing this also where people, they have their business, they come to get their taxes done and realize that their entity is not what they thought it was. So there is a sole proprietorship. Anybody can go in business. You just automatically have a sole proprietorship. You do not have to register that business depending on what it is. Now, if you're selling retail items, then you need to register with your state for that so that you can be set up for sales tax, because you'll be responsible for sales taxes. And you should be filing those monthly sales tax statements to your respective state. Okay. There may be other things that you have to sign up to do, because we pay numerous, and I'm going to pull them together, how many taxes we actually truly do pay. And that's a sole proprietorship. Again, there's legally, you really have no protection. When it comes to, if someone sues you, they're suing you, the person, and they feel like the business. Now, then if you decide to go get an LLC, when you do that and you register with your Secretary of State, you're now filing articles of organization. When you file those articles of organization, the IRS is now going to say, hey, how do you want to be taxed? This LLC is a disregarded entity, okay? Meaning it's not recognized at the federal level. It's recognized at the state level, okay? The IRS is not recognizing that LLC. They're saying, how do you want to be taxed? If it's one person, you'll be a single member LLC. If it's more than one person, now you'll be taxed as a partnership, or you can elect to be taxed as an S corp, or if you choose C corp election status. Now, there are responsibilities and guidelines that you have to adhere to once you start going into those corporations and messing with that stuff. A lot of people don't realize that there are other responsibilities that you have as a corporation. But if you say, I'm just going to not tell the IRS nothing, they're going to give you a default status based on how many people are within your company. Again, if it's one, you will be a single member LLC. If you have a partnership and one partner elects on their end to be taxed one way when it comes to their personal, and the other decides that they want to be taxed another way, they'll set that up when it comes to if they have another business that is in that partnership. Okay, so when those two businesses come together, this business may be getting taxed one way and this business getting taxed another. However, regardless, that information, when you have a partnership, is going to be prepared on a 1065 informational return to go to the IRS, and then a copy is going to go to your state to say, hey, this is what this partnership earned. These are the members. We're going to issue each one of them a K-1. I like to equate it similar to you getting a W-2 or a 1099 to be reported on their personal return. That will be reported then on the a K-1 will be reported on Schedule E, Part 2, from the S Corps, the corporations, and the partnerships. So all of that will be reported there. That Schedule E will then move to the Schedule 1, which now you will then see on your 1040. That's what ultimately you're going to end up, everybody's stuff ends up funneling to the 1040, and that's when they determine what your adjusted gross income is, whether you have any additional deductions, any other forms, and then your tax liability is determined from there. What do you owe? You're responsible for what you owe. And I'm just finding that a lot of people don't really understand that. If you are working with somebody else and you make a decision that we just going to be a partnership, you don't get to just decide that when you feel like it and the IRS has to comply. Like, it doesn't work that way. You make that determination on the front end. So you don't get to make that determination on the back end and then just file whatever tax return you want to file in the IRS. Yeah, many people do not know that she started a business as a partnership and had no clue how to distribute a 1099. Yeah, the K-1s. Yeah, a lot of people don't. And the thing is, I don't have a problem with the people that don't understand it, and then they, when you explain it to them, they're receptive. But when you want to rebut what the publication says, that's where my issue comes in at. Like, you can't argue what the IRS has already stated of how something works and how it flows. And if you have an issue with it or additional questions, or you don't trust who you're talking to, and it doesn't mean hop from preparer to preparer or CPA to CPA or EA to EA to get the person that's going to agree with you. Everybody doesn't specialize in tax preparation, just like we don't specialize in every area of different things. And when they know, and when they question you and they don't know the answer or solution, right? And the thing is, you get these people who question you or want to argue with you about it because they didn't do their part of what they're supposed to do, and then they're angry about it. And now here comes all this other stuff, but I'm not gonna argue with people about that stuff. I'm just not. I'll show it to you in the publication, and that's about as far as it's gonna go. I don't have the time or the energy to argue with a client about what tax law is or what the rules are as it pertains to you structuring your business or as to you filing your taxes. Do I know everything about everything? Absolutely not. So if you show it to me in the publication, I am totally transparent. I'll say, oh, I was wrong. I'll accept it. I'll own it. But if I know that I know, like I know 1 + 1 is 2, you're not going to tell me it's 5. And I'm going to just go with it because 5 sounds like a good number to you. Again, you can't go hopping from preparer to preparer, because ultimately what's going to happen is the IRS is going to catch up with you and they're going to want their money because now your stuff was filed wrong. And it's not going to be the preparer's responsibility. It's going to be yours because you signed off on that return. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I said, it's been a trying week because we've had that happen in my office, and it gets to be frustrating because now you're spending a whole lot of unnecessary time on something simply because somebody doesn't understand the logistics of their return. And I want to believe, I like to believe, I know from my testimonials, I go above and beyond. I do. I really do. However, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm going to stand my ground. I mean, I've invested quite a bit of money in education and training, and I try to hop on all the trainings to learn and to be educated to the best of my ability. Again, I don't know everything about everything. However, you know, um, what I can suck up, I suck it up. And if it's an area that I'm not an expert in, if I have to pull out another training or go to someone that's their area of expertise, I'm going to do just that. You know, I don't go to the auto repair, the body shop, and try to tell them how to paint a car. Or I mean, I know a little bit about something, I can tell you that's the quarter panel, those tires and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go tell you how you need to blend the coat, and it's not cheap investing in tax knowledge. It definitely is not. And I think that's where the misconception comes from, because there's so many tax professionals just popping up all over the place that it's assumed that it's a one size fits all, thing. And it's not. For those people who are truly invested in their education, those who are truly invested in their business, like, we put money into this. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. To try to, and then it's time consuming. And you gotta, I don't know, we a special kind of people that we like sitting like, we like sitting on these trainings. Because I was listening to something the other day and I was like, this stuff is boring, but it excites me. I know, like, we a special kind of people, and I'm grateful for even those special kind of people that's in those areas that I ain't my, that ain't my thing, but I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it. Again, the IRS is hiring more agents. They're hiring. I didn't even get what the number was. Either you got that, what the number was. I like problem solving too. Taxes are so boring, but I like problem solving, is what came across on IG. And that's my issue. I like solving problems. I'm not an investigator, but First 48, Law and Order, SVU, Blacklist, like, those are my shows. Those are my shows because I like trying to solve the issues. The education is boring. The education is so boring. It is. And we sit right up there and we're, but somebody got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. I don't know. I just, I think what happens is a lot of, people just think it, like I said, it's so many just tax pros popping up nowadays that it's assumed that it's easy or it's simple to do, and it's not. It's not. And you got to really have, just like everything else. And I always say that, especially like with educators and nurses, you've got to have a passion for it and a love for it in order for you to really, be able to soak that stuff up and dissect it. Because the IRS, like I said, they don't know that stuff half the time either. They're doing the same thing we doing, trying to break down what the tax laws say from Congress. Yes, exactly. And I'm not going back to a call center, so I gotta keep going. I know that's right. I know that's right, Jasmine. I feel you. They laugh at me because I'll tell them I'm unemployable. I don't go along to get along, unfortunately. I operate in honesty, integrity, and truth. And if it's, outside of that, I'm not going to, and I'm not a cliquey type person, which I know in corporate America, there's a lot of cliquish type stuff. And I'm just not, you know, I was the person in school that liked people that didn't get along. I like both parties involved. I ain't got nothing to do with what y'all got going on. So I've never been one to really side with people and all that. Like, right is right, wrong is wrong. It's black and white. Ain't no gray area for it, I operate in peace and trying to, keep the peace, but you can't make adults do anything that they don't want to do. So, but yeah, Jasmine, you got this. You got this. You've got everything. But listen, Jasmine, you with those reels lately, honey. If I learned anything this tax season, there's no such thing as a simple return. It's not as easy as people try to make it out to be. And that's the thing, you know, it's assumed that all we're doing is put numbers in. And it looks that simple. And what happens is TurboTax got people fooled. They got people thinking anybody can do taxes. Oh, you can just do this. And for those simple returns, a lot of times I will refer people to TurboTax. A lot of times I will. However, when you start getting into the logistics of everything, of someone's tax situation or their scenario being different or their scenario changing, who is going to help them navigate that process? Because one thing about me, if you get your taxes done at TurboTax, unless you're paying for a consultation, TurboTax need to help you. Like, they have an 800 number. They have representatives. Listen, that's the last thing we doing. I know, right? But the TurboTax actually has representatives that they train them in a call center type environment, Jasmine. So they have this call center type situation, and then they have these screens that you have to read what it says based on what the person's tax question is. They've even employed some CPAs. Now, I don't know if the CPAs can veer off the script. I know the regular agents cannot, because I worked with TurboTax a couple of years ago. I did some customer service work for them, and like, you got to stick to the script. Like, they ain't ask you nothing about your tax knowledge or anything like that, which is why I kind of was like, okay, yeah, this ain't for me. This ain't. But tax preparation, they respond like bots. That's exactly what it is. That's what it is. You got to read the script, but you got to read it like as you talking. You can't read it like a bot. But yeah, I just, I don't know. I love this area. I love being able to help people. I love being able to help people build their confidence in the fact that this is what it is. I don't want people to feel like they have to fear the IRS. They do not have to fear the IRS. You don't have to be afraid of audits. Just be ready. Have your stuff in order. Have your record keeping done, your documentation done. If you should be paying quarterly taxes, I highly recommend that you do, because the failure to file penalty is higher than the failure to pay penalty. These things I've been singing and harping on the same thing over and over and over again. And I just don't feel like I could say it enough. But I know I have a girlfriend. I actually worked out of her home office one day, and she just sat and was watching me, and I didn't realize she was even paying attention, and I was doing a return. And she was like, "You do all that?" Like, literally, I'm between the publications, the tax organizers, the documents, trying to see if this match up and does this make sense. And like, it's, hey, Amy Kristen, girl, I gotta call you after this. But we're making sure that they're compliant. It's compliance work, so I'm going to make sure you're compliant. I'm not a preparer that's going to just say, oh, this is what you gave me, this is what it is. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. And I want you to be empowered once I'm done with your return, that I've now broken it down and explained it to you. Girl, Amy Kristen, Lord have mercy, when I call you on this one here, you won't laugh. But anyway, but yeah, so all my tax peeps is on here tonight. I don't know where, we've had a couple other people coming in and out. But I just want to make sure that we understand that we need to know and understand our business. And we, if you're going to entrust somebody to handle your business, trust them, if it's somebody that you feel like they don't know, but they can now show you in the publications and in the documentation that, hey, this is what the tax law says. Like, you can't be mad. You can't be mad at all that the tax law now told you owe $10,000 because you done made that nice little 6 figures and you ain't paid Uncle Sam none of his money during the year, and he want all his money. Like, the most I can do for you is enter a payment plan and put that request in, and then offer you some tax planning going forward, and what your estimated tax payments will be in the upcoming year based on your situation if it doesn't change. All right. Well, I have enjoyed tonight again. Y'all have really helped uplift my spirits. It's been a little rough around these parts, like I said, but I'm glad I did go ahead and hop on, because at one point I was like, I'm not even getting on Tax Talk Tuesday because I don't want to discuss, what's going on. But then again, that's part of my transparency and being honest about what's happening and honest about my feelings about it. Like, again, all money is not good money, and you got to know how to, in any business, you got to know how to head that off. Like, you got to know that client, that person that's gonna go to the restaurant, and every time they go to the restaurant, it's a complaint. Like, every restaurant you go to is a problem. Ain't nobody making your food right. Like, for real? Oh, okay. Like, you gotta know how to. Now, I know a lot of times restaurants won't turn the customer away, but we're fortunate in the industry that we're in to say, yeah, I kindly like, yeah, I like you. We cool, but here, no, thank you. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the headache. And we do too much good, to my tax professionals. We do too much good in the hood, to let somebody dim our shine, or where we're at, or make you feel less confident in what you know that you spend time studying and learning. So again, the same way I want, the general population to be educated and empowered, my tax pros, y'all, we making it through this tax season. We almost at the end of round one. Because y'all know tax season really don't end for us until October. We're almost at the end of round one. Hang in there. If nobody's told you, I'm telling you, you're doing a phenomenal job. We have gone in the trenches. We have dealt with a lot this tax season. Again, my office is still offering tax PPP app loan submissions. We're still taking tax clients. I don't know. I think I'm gonna cut my partnerships in those business returns, other than Schedule Cs. I think I'm gonna cut those off a little earlier than what I said earlier. But I need to come up with some dates, and I'll have them posted on my page for whenever I'm gonna cut those off. It will not be May 1st like my girl, because she's going on vacation. But I will tell y'all, the month of July, sis, is relaxing. Like, that's going to be my fiscal year end. I've made that decision. So yeah, July, sis, is going to relax, and I'll regroup and go ahead and put all my plans in place for the next July to July, so that I'm ready to go strong. So we got each other. Know that. Tap in if you need to tap in, community. Um, and I look forward to seeing you guys for next week's Tax Talk Tuesday. Holla.